Hello friends, how are you? Welcome back to Gokhale Education Society's e-learning program 2020. Myself, Mr. Prakash D. Chauhan from Gokhale Education Society's HL High School and Junior College English Medium, Ozar Township. Friends, today we will learn the subject Geography of Standard 9th. In the last video, we have learned the third lesson of geography, that is exogenetic processes part 1. Friends, in the previous online lecture of exogenetic processes part 1, we have learned about mechanical weathering. Now today we will learn the remaining two types of weathering, that is chemical weathering and biological weathering in this lecture. Friends, before learning the chemical weathering, let's revise what is a weathering. Breaking or weakening of rocks is a natural phenomenon, as you know it we have learnt in the previous lecture. So friends, breaking or weakening of the rock is called as a weathering, and weathering has the three types. So far we have learnt about mechanical weathering. Now in this lecture we will learn about chemical weathering and biological weathering. So friends, let's begin with chemical weathering. Friends, to know the chemical weathering, let's try this experiment. Take a glass of water and put a piece of chalk in it. On the next day, observe what has happened to it. Friends, next day you will observe that the color of the water changed to white and chalk dissolved in the water completely. Friends, apart from this experiment, you can try another experiment. For that, you can wrap few iron nails in a wet cloth. Open that cloth after 2 or 3 days. Then after the 2 days, observe what happens with the nails and cloth. After 2 days, whenever you will open the wet cloth along with nails, you will see there are some stains on the cloth. Apart from that, you will also notice that the nails became reddish brown in color. What could be the reason for the stains? You can see that as the cloth is wet, reddish and brown rust must have formed on the iron nails wrapped in it. This could be the reason for the stains. And same kind of reaction, some kind of action also takes place in a chemical weathering, because this is the effect of chemical weathering. So let's learn in detail about chemical weathering. Friends, water plays an important role in chemical weathering because rock is a mixture of many minerals and water is a universal solvent. Many things get dissolved easily in water, and those materials which do not dissolve easily in water get dissolved in such solutions. In areas that receive heavy rainfall, chemical weathering occurs in the following way. Let's learn those ways. The first one is carbonation. The rainwater travels through the atmosphere before reaching the ground. Carbon dioxide in the air gets mixed in the water in this process. Dilute carbonic acid gets formed. Materials like limestone get easily dissolved in such acids. So like that the chemical process happens. Water plus carbon dioxide, the mixture of both make carbonic acid, that is H2O plus CO2 is equal to H2CO3. The second thing due to which chemical weathering occurs is solution. Some minerals in the rock get dissolved in water. Limestone is formed due to chemical precipitation between water and alkalis. You can see that at Vadgaon Darya in Ahmednagar district, limestone gets precipitated chemically, that is, undergoes chemical weathering again. Similarly, because of solution, alkalis in the rock dissolve and make them brittle. And in this way, due to the solution, chemical weathering occurs. The third and the last thing of chemical weathering is oxidation. This process occurs in rocks which have iron present in them. The iron in the rock comes in a contact with water and chemical reaction takes place between iron and oxygen. So a reddish colored layer forms on the rocks. This is called as a rust. In Marathi it is called as ganjane. When you kept nails in the wet cloth, you must have noticed a similar thing, just like that experiment we have seen earlier about the experiment of screws in a wet cloth. You must have noticed the process occurs in rocks in areas with high rainfall. You can see this thing in the figure 3.1d of your textbook. There are many more processes involved in a chemical weathering besides the ones mentioned above, like oxidation, solution, and carbonation. Daily life examples include moistening of a table salt in rainy season, apple slices turning brown if we will cut it and will keep for a while as it is. You will see that whenever you are eating the apples and if you cut the apple slices and instead of eating the apples, if you will keep the slices as it is, then after some time you will see the brownish color on the slices of the apple. This is the also effect of chemical weathering in our daily life. Now friends, let's learn about biological weathering. This is the last type of weathering. Besides mechanical and chemical weathering, biological factors are also responsible for weathering of rocks. Have you visited any fort in Maharashtra like Raigad, Pratapgarh, Shivneri, Murud Janjira or else another? Have you seen trees growing on their minarets? You also must have seen pieces of rocks getting separated because of the roots of the trees. As the roots grow bigger, they create tension in the rocks and start breaking them. You can see the figure 3.8 of your textbook. Apart from this, ants make large ant hills. Rats, mice, rabbits, and other worms and insects make a burrows in the ground. These animals are called burrowing animals because of their activity. Weathering of rock occurs. Besides these, algae, moss, lichen, and other flora grow in the rocks. They also help in biological weathering. Now friends, let's learn about mass movements or mass wasting. Friends, the weathered rock materials start moving along the slopes due to gravity, and that weathered materials accumulate near the foothills or the gentler slopes. This process has been happening for over the years. The weathered particles form a conical heap at the foothills of the mountain or any hills. When weathered particles move down due to gravity alone, the process is called as mass movements. Mass movements occur in two ways. It is rapid on steeper slopes, whereas the mass movement is slower on the gentle slopes. So let's learn about the rapid mass movements. Rock falls, landslides, and land subsidence occur rapidly. Their effects are very destructive. The probability of these events is more in the regions having humid climates and steeper slopes. A thick layer of weathered materials form on the slope. When it rains in such areas, the rainwater penetrates the weathered material and their weight increases. The weathered materials move very rapidly and come down the slope. Friends, do you remember the tragedy of Malin village of Pune district recently? During the night, the mudslide takes place and the whole village was disappeared down the mudslide. This is the example of rapid mass movements. In that tragedy, a lot of people have been killed under the mud during the night. Friends, sometimes the weathered materials do not move downward but sink in situ where they are, means that material settles where it is. This is called slumping. You can see in the figure of 3.10 of your textbook. Such rapid mass movements may also occur because of earthquakes. Now student friends, let's learn the last part of the lesson, that is slower mass movements. Friends, in areas with dry climates and gentle slopes, mass movements also occur slowly. Soil creep is a common phenomenon in such areas. In periglacial regions, along the slopes, small layers of soil accumulate because of the movements of soil. This is called as solifluction. You can see it in the textbook also, figure 3.13, and in the videos also you can see the figure of solifluction. Now friends, let's learn about erosion. Like weathering and mass movements, erosion is also an external process. Erosion occurs through various agents: wind, running water, glaciers, seawater, and groundwater are the agents of erosion. All these things you must have learnt in the standard 8 also, lesson number 9 and 10, agents of erosion part 1 and part 2. And friends, these agents of erosion and the landforms produced by them, we will study it in the next lesson of geography, that is exogenetic processes part 2, in the next videos. Now friend, it is the time of homework. You can write the questions and the answers shown in the videos, and you can write the marked questions and answers in your notebook in the points only. Well, thank you friends, and we will meet in the next video of geography. Till then, goodbye.